Hi everybody, welcome to Lily's Antidepressant Life. I'm here to share some of my experiences battling depression, the good, the bad, and sometimes the surprisingly bizarre. My goal is for this to be a safe place to discuss the hard stuff. Only people who have experienced depression really understand depression, and as a unique community, we need to embrace and lift each other up. Before I start today's topic, I do want to let y'all know that my new series is dropping on my blog on Friday, January 20th. It's called Unveiled Narcissistic Abuse. Never Again, Not Me. It can be found on my website, lillystrong.com. That's Lily with three L's, Lilly, and then Strong, like strong. Today I want to focus on a particular group called the sandwich generation and the unique depression that can come with it. Last week, I heard an actress complaining about the fact that she had to drive herself to the movie set and was not provided with a driver. Oh my. She actually was complaining that it was unfair treatment, and I was thinking, wow, if my biggest complaint in the world was that I had to drive myself to work, I'd be in a pretty good spot, right? But that's nothing like how the real world is for most of us. Imagine being an acrobat in the world's most demanding circus, juggling not tennis balls, but generations. Welcome to the tightrope walk of the sandwich generation, where every day is a performance that deserves a standing ovation, but we usually don't get a single clap, much less a personal driver. The sandwich generation refers to adults who are simultaneously caring for their aging parents and supporting their own children. I distinctly remember when my mother was in the middle of the sandwich. She would take my siblings and me around town to our different activities. Then we'd stop by to visit my grandmother, who was living in a retirement home. As a kid, I would sometimes get annoyed that I had to stop to visit Grandma too because, I was so exhausted from the rowdy Girl Scout meeting I had just left and wanted Mom to drop me off at home first. But my mom explained with great patience that it would be a waste of time to drive me to our house and then come back because we were driving right by Grandma's, and that her time was valuable. And more importantly, it made Grandma happy to see me, even if it was only for a few minutes. It made sense, but I still was caught up in the child's world of selfishness. But even through the haze of kid narcissism, I remember my mom always being patient with me. She never got upset or impatient with my impatience. She just plugged along and did what needed to be done. She never seemed annoyed with my grandma either, even when Grandma got more and more difficult to be around. My mom just treated her right. And then she'd go home and make dinner for our family so we could all sit around the kitchen table together and eat. And she treated all of us right. And she made it all seem so easy, so natural, so not filled with depression. Now, as I find myself stuck in the middle of the sandwich, I look back on what a superhero my mom was and wonder why I struggle so much more than she ever seemed to. She always did the right thing. She was able to take care of everybody and everything without losing her mind. She didn't seem ever to be fighting depression, which begs the question, what's wrong with me? Well, for those battling with depression, let me tell you, there isn't anything wrong with us. Everybody struggles with their own burdens, okay? There is nothing wrong with us. It's not realistic to ever compare ourselves with another person because we don't really see the whole picture. It's like an iceberg. You only see the tip jutting out of the ocean surface, where the rest of the iceberg could extend downwards for miles and miles. And B, no two situations are ever identical. Seriously, you could take identical twins, have them marry another set of identical twins, and throw them into the exact same situation, and they will respond differently. We are unique individuals and won't ever react the same as someone else, not even our own parents. And it's possible that my mom perhaps did suffer from depression, but she hid it from me. I wish I could ask her about it, but she's deep into dementia now, and we can't have that conversation. My beautiful mother now lies in a bed receiving hospice care. She barely eats and talks. She can't even sit up alone. And I find it devastating. I don't have the same grace and strength that she showed years ago when she was stuck in the middle of the sandwich. And I ask myself, what is wrong? But remember, it's nothing. Nothing is wrong with me. We all handle our situations different. And nothing requires me to handle my sandwich with the same poise and elegance as my mother. I would like to, but I'm not getting graded on how I handle my life. Nothing will be going on my permanent record. But also, I'm not really part of the sandwich generation that my mother was. I'm part of something new and different. I'm going to call it the ultimate club sandwich generation. So picture this. Every day, I live my life on a tightrope, balancing precariously between the needs of my aging parents and my growing children. As a member of the sandwich generation, my world is a constant high wire act of love, duty, and resilience. But there is a big difference between a regular sandwich and a club sandwich. There is a bit more extra going on. If you think about the difference between a regular sandwich and a club sandwich, it mainly lies in their structure and specific ingredients. So a regular sandwich, as you all know, typically consists of 2 slices of bread with some sort of filling, such as PB&J or meat and cheese or veggies. A club sandwich traditionally is made with 3 slices of bread. The sandwich is layered, often cut into quarters, and held together with cute little toothpicks. My favorite is when the toothpicks have colored plumes on the end. I'm all about little bits of whimsy. So a club sandwich is a layer of bread, then stuff, then another layer of bread, then more stuff, then the final slice of bread. So for me, it's like my parents are on one end of the sandwich, then there's a bunch of filling. Then there's me, the middle layer, and then a bunch more filling stuff that is oozing out of the squish concoction. Then the final layer is my children and their different set of challenges. In my 50s, I find it to be a unique and challenging role that I never was prepared for. They didn't have a college class about this. So every day I walk a metaphorical tightrope, balancing the demands of 2 generations who depend on me. This balancing act isn't just a figure of speech, it's my daily reality, and it takes a significant toll on my well-being. Mentally, the toll is challenging. The constant worry for my parents' health, combined with a desire to be a supportive and effective parent to my children, it keeps me in a perpetual state of high alert, which most people know is not healthy. It's not good for anxiety and depression. And this relentless stress has led to moments of big feelings of anxiety and burnout. The emotional labor of managing the needs and expectations of both my parents and children is immense. And it doesn't usually get recognized. This is not a good situation for a person already battling depression. And I know a lot of people are stuck in this sandwich generation with me. So the sandwich generation we're experiencing now is constantly evolving. And that's because of various social and health and demographic factors. So some of these things are longer life expectancy. While caring for elderly parents has always been a part of the sandwich generation's responsibilities, the shorter life expectancy in previous generations meant the duration of care might have been less. With advances in healthcare leading to longer lifespans, we find ourselves caring for elderly parents for a longer period. This extended care can impact your financial, emotional, and physical well-being, potentially for years. Another impact on today's generation is the significant increase in special needs children. Our generation has a greater prevalence of children diagnosed and identified with special needs. This requires additional care, resources, and attention, further stretching the responsibilities and resources. Our generation also has observed an increase in autoimmune diseases, both in children and adults. Managing these chronic conditions requires time, medical attention, financial burdens, and it still is adding more to the plate of the sandwich generation. There's also later onset of parenthood. Previous generations had children at a younger age, which often meant that by the time they were caring for their parents, their children were more independent. With many in our generation choosing to have children later in life, there's an overlap where you might be raising young or adolescent children while also needing to care for aging parents. This convergence of responsibilities can lead to increased stress and financial pressure and really big emotions. Our generation might also face unique economic pressures such as higher costs of living and education, potentially slower wage growth, and concerns about job security. These factors compound the stress. Do you see a theme here? Stress. In older generations, it was more possible to have one working parent while the other parent stayed home and took care of all the juggling of generations. Nowadays, it's much more common to have two working parents or sometimes just a single parent working, which stretches the amount of free time considerably more. So these things coincide with my own midlife as I am 50s, a time when I'm facing personal health challenges, including lupus, an autoimmune disorder, and I have a child with autism. I am also divorced and a single working parent. So now I'm dealing with a triple layer of health concerns, my own, my children's, and my aging parents. But wait, there's more. On top of all these other factors, we right now are living in unprecedented times. We are still coming out of a pandemic. We are dealing with the repercussions of having an extended period of lockdown. A lot of our children may be educationally or socially delayed. Our aging parents may be at risk for greater health problems due to COVID-19. And I know there's still a lot of people that just feel so isolated. These factors collectively suggest that our generation's experience as the sandwich generation is far more complex and demanding than that of previous generations. It highlights the need for more robust support systems, both at a personal and societal level, to help manage these concurrent responsibilities. If you're feeling discouraged by being in the sandwich generation, know that you're not alone. There are a lot of us out here. If you feel overwhelmed, reach out for help. Find a support group, go to therapy, hang out with your friends. Don't try to do it all on your own. So, before I tell you the importance of yoga, let me start by saying that I can't tell you how many times I've been told that yoga is the magic answer to all my problems. The fairy godmother to my Cinderella. But let me tell you, yoga is not magical. Yoga is great. I love yoga. Yoga helps keep my body strong and bendy, and it calms my mind and spirit. It's wonderful, but it doesn't cure things. It won't heal my lupus, prevent my depression, or alleviate any of my pressing responsibilities. Anytime someone tells me that they know somebody with lupus who started doing yoga and was completely healed, well, it's reductive. It's not encouraging. It makes me feel like my problems aren't big, and they are. My problems are big, just like yours. So let's all make a pact that as fellow depression warriors, we will stop making each other feel trivialized or marginalized. We need to lift each other up. Depression's hard. It would be so helpful if we could all be encouraging. Now, on to the good things about yoga. It's not just about yoga. It's all about self-care. Self-care is not just important, but essential in the battle with depression. I talk a lot about self-care on my blog, 3 o'clock Wednesdays at lillystrong.com. It's taken me a long time. I'm 54. It's taken me over 50 years, but I've learned that no one is going to ensure I get self-care unless I do it myself. And when I'm walking on a tightrope while juggling, I can't also worry about fighting the lion of depression that is stalking me, waiting for me to fall off my precariously balanced wire. I will lose. The best thing for me and my depression is to care for myself actively, my body, mind, and soul. It doesn't have to be yoga. All that matters is that it lets your soul exhale. It's challenging. It's challenging to find time for myself, given the demands of my schedule and my lack of emotional energy. But for me, self-care can be as simple as a short walk around the block, or a quiet cuddle with a good book, or just pursuing a hobby I enjoy. I've gone out on walks in my neighborhood just hoping to bump into somebody walking their dog because I love dogs. They fill up my happy tank. Sometimes self-care means seeking support through therapy, or joining with a support group, or calling up a friend to cry. One of my besties and I have wine and wine time when we drink a glass of wine while venting our problems to each other. It's very therapeutic. So self-care is all about creating uninterrupted time for myself, a necessity for maintaining my balance on this life tightrope. And it doesn't have to take long. I can go for a 10-minute walk, and it's all mine. My brain is my own. I'm not talking to anyone, answering questions. It's my time. So listen to me. Self-care is not a luxury. It is critical for sustaining our ability to care for others and ourselves. This also includes other things such as setting boundaries, learning to delegate, and sometimes just asking for help. It's a recognition that to maintain balance, we need to be attentive to our well-being so that we can help others. My life in the Ultimate Club Sandwich Generation is not just a challenge, it's also a journey of profound meaning. What I do, what we all do, has great importance. But it's hard, really hard. I get it. How are you feeling today? Are you struggling with the Ultimate Club Sandwich Generation? Do you feel like your well-being is always second place? No wonder we feel depressed, right? Don't let you become an afterthought in your own life. You are supposed to be the headlining star. Take care of yourself. Treat yourself like the precious gem you are. You should be given a driver to take you to work every day while following a parade with 1,000 fans cheering you on. You are important. And I always say we need to laugh more. So to give you a laugh today, my joke is sandwich related. What happened to my sandwich when I left it in the building's elevator? I took my lunch to the next level. I know, corny. I love it. Hey, give me a shout out if you have any jokes to share or questions or comments. And remember, if you ever feel like you need help, you can call 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's just 3 numbers, 988. Let me know if you have any great tips on how to deal with the Ultimate Club Sandwich Generation. And I'll talk to you later.